Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Grilled Sports Podcast. My name is Naoki Rants. You might know me as Ghost, and this is Comedy Gamer Ray with me today. Introduce yourself, why don't you?
Yeah, I'm Comedy Gamer Ray. I do streaming and stuff like that, but I'm a big fan of sports. I've been doing sports commentary at my college for 3 years now. I'm on my senior semester, so I will be ending my sports commentary career for now.
Oh Lord. Okay.
It's the impending doom scares me, and I'm probably going to be crying on my last ever game, whatever that be.
I mean, fair. You've been doing it probably for a while now, and you're gonna miss doing it. But
Absolutely.
honestly, if you're doing commentating now while in college, it's better for opportunities later on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, maybe you could commentate the Blues in the future.
You never know.
So, first things first, let's talk about NASCAR returning. Finally, we've been waiting a long time for it, and it's finally back. The Daytona 500 and the final race at Auto Club, at least until 2025, but still, it's the final race in Fontana. How did you think about that whole first race, though?
Oh my God. Are we going to talk about that LA Coliseum race though? Boy, oh man.
I'm gonna be honest, the first year of LA Coliseum was underwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. But
But
this year it
this
was,
year was insane. I am honestly shocked at how good that was.
and I mean, let's take a look at that top three. Martin Truex Jr. taking the win, Austin Dillon right behind him, and then Kyle Busch. I mean, that's pretty good lineup, I think. That was a pretty
I
good
mean,
race.
Kyle Busch keeping his pace, especially on a different team, is definitely good.
Yeah, and I mean, I think no, he didn't even make it very high in Daytona 500 though, but that's because he got wrecked. I think near the end there.
Oh, that's
So
cool. So
yeah,
the
that one
winner
was
of
kind of bad for
the
him.
so just a quick update: the winner of the Alsco Uniforms 300 is I believe it seems to be
Oh
Austin
yeah.
Hill.
Yep, Austin Hill taking the win.
Finally, a good Hill name getting a win here in the Xfinity Series. And then I believe the winner of the Craftsman was Bush, wasn't it? Kyle Busch. Yeah, 51. Kyle Busch took the win, and then Zane Smith got second. Ben Rhodes
Yeah.
got third, and
Also,
then I believe a
Victoria
rookie in Corey
Wow.
Heim getting fourth.
Yeah, wow.
The only Toyota in that top 10, by the way.
Yeah, it's always I find that weird because Kyle Busch was always a Toyota guy, and it's weird seeing him in anything other than a Toyota.
I know, but it was just Ty Gibbs coming into the Cup
Yeah, no,
Series, and grandfather wants to give his grandson a little spot in the race, so he gave him Bush's car, I believe.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's
Which
about
wasn't
right.
great
But
to begin with. But
yeah, the
everyone
Cup Series
after
a
last
day.
season has high expectations for Ross Chastain. And honestly, I don't
Yeah,
blame him.
yeah. I mean, there are the guys that I always expect to do really good in the season. I mean, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, those guys are always going to be up there.
Yep.
Two of Hendrick Motorsports guys that are always in the top. Because I mean, Kyle Larson's insane. Let's talk about that. The dude will race on Sunday for a NASCAR race, but he raced like dirt tracks the night before and has to fly across. Like he's literally racing is his blood. But you get guys also like Kyle Busch who will definitely be up in the top and everything like that. You can probably see Brad Kozlowski later on in the season getting close to the playoffs. I mean, there's just guys that I honestly always expect there. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Is Chastain to see where he gets up this season?
And speaking of Larson, he did qualify P6 for today's race.
Yep.
And as I was talking about Ty Gibbs, he is P4. So he's proving himself, but I'm afraid his attitude's going to get him somewhere else. Because we all saw how much of a baby he was down in the Xfinity Series, honestly.
Yeah.
He was and he punted off his own teammate. So interested to see where that leads him. Ross
William Byron and Kyle
Chastain is actually
Larson.
in that top 10 for the race as well. Number in P8. Kyle Busch for Richard Childress is in P5, but on pole position is your reigning NASCAR champion Joey Logano. Everyone has a negative opinion about Logano, but what's your opinion on him, honestly? Ray? Oh, he crashed. Oh no. Anyways, um well, in my opinion on honestly, my opinion on Logano is not that bad. I think he's a great racer, but I do think that there's going to be some points where he just drops it and starts getting mad, starts throwing a fit. Looking at the rest of the qualifying, Christopher Bell queuing up. So the top 10 is Joey Logano in P1, William Byron, Hendrick Motorsports in P2, Ryan Blaney in P3, Ty Gibbs P4, solid outing, Kyle Busch in P5, Larson in P6, Keselowski in P7, Ross Chastain in P8, Austin Cindric in P9, and Christopher Bell in P10. Bubba Wallace is actually down there in P13. Not a great beginning for Bubble Balls, but we'll see. We'll see. Next up, let's take a look at previous race results. So, of course, Daytona 500 happened. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. getting an amazing win from P31. And honestly, that is insane. You started near the back of the field. And honestly, I was impressed with that win from Ricky Stenhouse. And of course, Denny Hamlin wasn't too happy about it. But, a win's a win. And you can try and say all you want about Ricky Stenhouse. He's still a great driver. He's still in the Cup Series. So honestly, just believe in the man. Believe in the man. And then Auto Club, the last race in Fontana until 2025. Kyle Busch takes the win there in a Chevy from 21st. And Chase Elliott from 33rd, finishing right behind him in P2. And then P3 was Ross Chastain, already starting off well this year with a solid top 3 finish. And then you could go more and more into it and then look at, Denny Hamlin P6, Truex in P11, Gibbs in 16th. Bell didn't have the greatest race, going all the way down to 32nd due to a crash. But yeah, Bubba Wallace went out due to an engine. Dillon also went out due to an engine. Reddick, Almirola, and Allmendinger all crashed out. But the bottom of the running drivers was Kyle Larson in 29th. That is not a great race for Larson, but I am excited to watch Las Vegas today and watch that race because that's going to be an insane race. Next up, let's talk about Formula One. Formula One had the Bahrain Grand Prix today, and honestly, one of the greatest opening races I have seen personally. Now, of course, qualifying wasn't that great. We saw the outings of some new drivers on the grid, some new blood. You have Logan Sargent, the first full-time American driver since the mid-2000s, I believe, with Juan Pablo Montoya. And then you have Oscar Piastri after the whole fiasco this summer with this last winter with how he was going to go to Alpine, said he wasn't going to go to Alpine, and then went to McLaren. And then Nick DeVries making his first outing with AlphaTauri didn't have the greatest qualifying. He finished at the bottom of the rookies, and Sargent finished P16. So eliminated in the first qualifying was Sargent, Magnussen, Piastri, DeVries, and Gasly. In that second qualifying, you had some pretty solid times coming from drivers like Fernando Alonso. Lance Stroll actually had a pretty decent qualifying. Esteban Ocon with a 130.9. But the bottom of the timing tables ended up being Norris, Bottas, Joe Tsunoda, and Albon. And Albon did not even drive. He didn't even do a lap of qualifying. He was stuck in the garage the entire time. And yeah. He also went out for a lap, but went wide. He almost spun. So that happened. That happened to end up almost dropping his race. So dropping his qualifying. And then final qualifying, Hulkenberg did not set a lap, or his lap got deleted. I do not remember. Verstappen was on pole with an outstanding 129.7. And Sergio Perez with a 129.8. Leclerc with a 130 even. Sainz with a 130.154 and P4. P5 was Alonso with a 130.336. Russell P6 with a 130.340. Hamilton with a 130.384. Stroll with a 130.836 and an Esteban Ocon with a 130.984. Now this race. This race was perfection. This race was the best opening race I personally have seen. Now, of course, let's talk about the DNFs. Not a single crash in Bahrain, and surprisingly, no turn 1, lap 1 wrecks, except a turn 4, lap 1 contact between Lance Stroll and his teammate Fernando Alonso. Surprisingly, neither car was damaged. And then, so the drivers that went out first, Piastri with a gearbox issue that was within the wheel, so they tried replacing the wheel, and then they just wouldn't turn on. The car just would not turn on, and he was very disappointed. Leclerc going out of the race on the middle of the track with, I believe, an engine issue, but it looked more like an electronic issue, honestly. And then Esteban Ocon retiring in the pit lane due to some type of issue. I don't remember what it was. I believe it was hydraulics. But yeah, at the bottom of the running was Lando Norris, showing that McLaren is not up this season. They have not woken up from last season's woes, and they're still letting it get to them, and it's just not doing well. So I just got some information on Ray. His internet completely shut off. So I'll be doing solo for now until he gets back. And at the top of the tables for the rookies this season, it was Logan Sargent getting a P12 in his first outing. He was only 2 positions away from getting a points finish, but luckily his teammate Alex Albon got 1 point for Williams at the beginning of the season. Yuki Tsunoda finished ahead of teammate Nick DeVries. Tsunoda finished P11, DeVries in P14. Kevin Magnussen was in P13. Finishing ahead of his teammate Nico Hulkenberg in P15. Guan Yu Zhou in P16, who got the fastest lap of the 133.996. Everyone was hoping that he would get an outstanding lap. And then your podium for today's Bahrain Grand Prix, it happened as I was recording this, was Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Fernando Alonso with P3 in an Aston Martin. And even during the race, he said this car is a blast to drive, showing that Aston Martin has improved on their car and has completely smashed it this year. And Stroll with P6 after coming back from surgery. He has little pins in his wrists, getting a P6. Oh my goodness. Aston Martin had an insane outing today. And then you had Sainz P4, Hamilton P5, Russell P7, Bottas P8, Gasly P9 coming back from last place on the grid, and Alex Albon, of course, with that P10. Driver of the day was Fernando Alonso, and honestly, great outing. Perfect timing, Ray, as I just finished with the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Perfect. I had to completely reset it. Oh my god, that sucks.
I
right.
did mention that you went out because of internet issues. You paused and you had me thinking that my internet went out.
I thought it might have been. I started thinking it was my end, and I was like, maybe it's yeah. That happened.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, and then you just disappeared, and the recording was still going. So I'm like, oh, it was him.
Okay, so which ones have we got done so far?
So
NASCAR's done.
I finished NASCAR. I finished Formula One with the Bahrain Grand Prix.
All right.
And then I believe next up in racing is that we have IndyCar this week.
Ooh, something I'm not as good about.
I watch IndyCar occasionally. I don't watch it all the time. I just know Jimmy Johnson was there for a bit. But 6 minutes ago, this was released. The Firestone Grand Prix was red flagged after a lap 1 incident.
Oh, wow. Hold on. There's video too. This I got to see.
I believe you do have permissions to show your screen, so you can show them what the accident was. Because I can't.
Oh, lordy. Yeah.
Yeah, share your screen. Let's see this.
Let's see.
There should be a little button that says present down there.
Nope. Come on. Jeez.
I have not seen this crash, but I just saw the tweet when looking up the Firestone Grand Prix.
Yeah, they're going to be on a red flag to make sure everyone's safe and okay, and also probably to clean up all that debris and everything. That's going to take a while.
Yeah, but I need to see what that crash was. Are you able to share your screen?
It says stop screen. Oh, there we
go. I had to add it. So let's see this.
Let's watch it in real time. This is scary stuff. There's the contact with Felix Rosenquist, the checkup.
Oh.
And, now just wait
and then right there.
Oh. Oh, no.
That is probably the biggest reason why it's red.
It's red because of two things. One, driver safety, and B, it's blocking the entire track, so they wouldn't even be able to go around with the safety car. That is insane. Wow. I hope everyone's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's boy.
And at the red flag, the current top three is Roman Grosjean, former Formula One driver, Colton Herta, and Pato O'Ward. Drivers involved in that crash was number 6, Helio Castroneves, and number 14, Santino Ferrucci, number 29, Devlin DeFrancesco, number 51, Stingray Robb, number 60, Simon Pagenaud, and number 55, Benjamin Peterson. All involved in that crash. Yeah. Oh Lord, that's a bad crash. But they do have a official time of when engines will restart at 12:54 Eastern time. So about a minute here, they will get back underway. Yeah, that's a bad crash, really. I think somebody might be going out due to concussion.
Yeah. I watched a F1 race one time in my life, and it was near the end of the race, and it was that one where that driver passed away in the
Oh,
race.
2014 Suzuka.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, dude, you
That was
just
the
gave
only
me.
F1 race I ever watched, and I was like, oh my God, this is F1 racing. All right.
Yeah. But luckily you didn't watch that 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was Jules Bianchi, and we actually had the most recent passing of a driver in any of the Formula Series. I believe it was Antoine Hubert in the Formula 2
Yeah.
series
Yeah.
at Belgium. He sadly passed away after a crash. They couldn't get him to the hospital at all. I believe he died at the circuit. So, and he was on track to actually join his friend Charles Leclerc in Formula One. He had that entire pace going, but sadly that was taken away from him as he passed away. But I think we're done with racing for now since IndyCar is done. I don't think Formula E we should really touch on because it's not really a big followed sport.
Yeah.
I still love Formula E. Antonio Felix da Costa with a smashing win in the first race in South Africa. When was the last race in South Africa? Let me look this up.
And while you're doing that, NASCAR race tonight, which we talked about a little bit. So honestly, keep an eye out on that one.
The last race in South Africa was the 1993 race of the South African Grand Prix as of 2022.
That race is being broadcasted on Fox at 2:30 actually, and for me right now, it is a 11:56. So 2
I am
hours.
in Central Time too, mate. Don't worry.
Hey, there we go. Perfect.
I'm from Kansas. That's why you see the KC
Kansas,
posters.
really? All right.
That's why you see the KC poster.
Okay, Missouri myself then. All right. So
All right. So next up, let's talk about the trade deadlines.
pain
I
and
know the
misery.
Blues didn't have the greatest one,
We
but this is
are
not just the
selling
NHL. This is not just
and
the NHL. It's the NBA as well.
yeah.
NBA trade deadline, which
I
I'm not really
forget.
fond. I'm not really that big into it, but I will say the trades that happened were insane.
I try to follow basketball as much as I can.
Cap friendly. We're gonna start from the last trade that was recorded on there, which was Anaheim Ducks acquire two players, two AHLers for John, and Minnesota get John Klingberg.
Yep.
Let's go with some major trade. John Klingberg is definitely one of them. Another big trade in this trade deadline was definitely that Jacob Chikrin trade. He went to the Ottawa Senators, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm
Yes, he did.
I'm keeping one trade in my head.
Yep. So it was Arizona acquires a 2023 first round pick from Ottawa, conditional, and a 2024 second round pick from Washington, which is a Washington's from Ottawa, conditional, and a 2026 second round pick. And Ottawa acquired Jacob Chikrin. But let's talk about a specific St. Louis trade. It's not a bad one.
There were two. There were two big ones, really. In
But
my
this one was
opinion.
actually a big gain for the Blues. It was Detroit Red Wings acquired Dylan McLaughlin and a 7th round pick from St. Louis for Jacob Vrana.
Yes. Okay. So I didn't get to see much of this trade. I think I was busy. Yeah, I was busy that
And
day.
they retained 50%, so that means that you only had a cap hit of $2.625 million.
Yeah. And
But
I mean, we've opened up some cap space too here recently with the trading of Tarasenko and the trading of O'Reilly. So that's definitely helping up some cap space as well.
so also let's talk about the fact that the Panthers did not make a single trade this deadline.
Yeah, didn't they do this again last year too when they were like really hot? They didn't make much moves.
They made big moves last year, but this year they made 0 moves.
Jeez.
Last year we acquired Claude Giroux and Ben Sherratt at the trade deadline, but this year we acquired nobody. Yeah, we sold out last year. I'm still
the
pissed
Eastern
about it.
Conference is going a little crazy. It's
And here's a little fact for you. Patrick Kane was an Arizona Coyote for like a second, and then he got traded to the Rangers.
yes.
So
yes.
I'm always gonna call Patrick Kane a Coyotes legend.
Yep. As you should.
Coyotes
funny,
legend
like,
Patrick Kane gets traded to the New York Rangers.
when you think about it, he technically qualifies for Arizona Coyote alumni games now whenever he retires. So
He does because he did. It's like when Mike Hoffman got traded to the Sharks and then immediately got traded to the Panthers.
well, Jonathan Quick got traded too.
So yeah, got Jackets legend Jonathan Quick, by the way. Yeah, they acquired a 2023 first round pick and a 2024 third round pick and Jonathan Quick for Jonas Korpisalo and Vladislav Gavrikov, both great players, great pickups from the Kings.
Absolutely.
And that was on the 1st of March. The 2nd of March, the Blue Jackets acquire Michael Hutchinson and a 2025 7th round pick, and Vegas Golden Knights acquired Jonathan Quick.
Yes. So this might have been a strategy by Columbus because we need to trade a goaltender because Vegas is having that issue. There's a player, they wanted that player from Vegas, I would say. And so you pick up a goaltender from, especially a big one like that, Jonathan Quick, that definitely helps out your trade situation.
Yep, and then Devils made some big moves as well. They got Curtis Lazar from the Vancouver Canucks and Timo Meier from the Sharks. Those are some big moves. And then Jakub Voracek to the Coyotes. If you don't know that name, then you probably don't know, but he was one of the best players on the Blue Jackets. I'm guessing he requested a trade and he probably went to a team he's not going to be too happy being in. So and Boston is just loading up with more weapons at this point.
Toronto is as well. Toronto is going like insane.
But they're still getting eliminated in the first round.
Do you know how angry I will be if they gave us so much to take our captain, Ryan O'Reilly,
take Ryan O'Reilly
and still get eliminated in the first round?
I'm gonna say this: you have better bets at the Rangers make the second round than the Maple Leafs winning the cup or even making it out of the first round.
Absolutely, they're going all in to win the cup this year. In all honesty, with Toronto, they are making so much moves. If they still fail, they just need to shut it all down. Throw everything out, every contract, every player, and start from scratch.
Send Matthews to the Yotes.
Honestly, good God. That's the only way
the
that team out
acquirees from the Maple Leafs, some notable ones, is Luke Shen, Eric Gustafson, Jake McCabe, and Sam Lafferty, Ryan O'Reilly, and Josh Pilar from Minnesota. So I can now say Ryan O'Reilly is a Minnesota Wild legend. And Toronto acquiring Nola Chari, Dryden Hunt,
Horna from the Leafs, or not the Leafs, the Flames. They picked them up from the Flames for Dryden Hunt.
Yep, yeah, but they're both AHL contracts.
Yeah,
so they're not.
But
really
I mean,
notable.
AHL players can be, if you need to call them up, they can definitely. You need to have good AHL guys, honestly.
Yeah, Dryden Hunt was traded to the Flames after being acquired from the Avalanche for Dennis Mulligan. They got Connor Timmins from the Coyotes, and that's all of the moves they made. That's outside of the trade deadline is those two trades, the Colorado and the Arizona one. But the trade deadline moves was, of course, Ryan O'Reilly, Josh Pilar, and Nola Chari. Minnesota acquired Ryan O'Reilly from St. Louis. So originally, it was a St. Louis Minnesota trade, and then Minnesota sent Toronto some guys, and St. Louis also sent Toronto some guys.
And with
Toronto
that,
sent
you're
some
seeing
back.
the entire draft class just get thrown out the window, and it's starting new almost.
Yeah, Ryan O'Reilly is definitely a big pickup, but his first game wasn't that great.
Yeah. O'Reilly is a much better leader. He is a guy that you can depend on that first line to give instructions on what to do.
Yeah, but he's
a
not playing on the
defensive
first
forward.
line, so
That's true. But of course, they pay the first line how much money, and they still can't win a cup. You got problems, Toronto. Fix them.
So February 28th, the New York Rangers, we're starting on the Rangers now, acquire from the Chicago Blackhawks Cooper Zech. Chicago sent over to Arizona for Bill Saryavi, Patrick Kane, and then Arizona shipped Patrick Kane to the Rangers. Coyotes legend Patrick Kane, my bad, to the Rangers for a 2025 third-round pick. So not really much value for Kane here.
Yeah, I don't know if the team was done with him or if he was done with the team, but Blackhawks could have got so much out of him. But then
Julian
again, the Rangers did
Gauthier,
give away their first round pick.
Tyler Mott returns to the Rangers with Julian Gauthier going to the Senators and a 2023 7th-round pick conditional. And then this is the trade you hate. I know you do, but it is Sammy Blais, Hunter Skinner, a first-round pick, a 2023 first-round pick, and a 2024 fourth-round pick for Vladimir Tarasenko and Nico Mikola.
Yes. Vladdy has been a part of the Blues organization for a very long time.
Oh, yeah. So here's a little news about the Rangers. They don't have a second round, fourth round, a fifth round, or a 7th-round pick in this upcoming draft. They only have a first, which is a conditional first from the Stars, a 3rd round from the Avalanche, and then two 6th-rounders from themselves and the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, so they gave away their first-round pick. The Blues have 3 first-round picks currently. They have the one from wherever they rank, and then one from Toronto and one from Rangers. They literally have 3 first-round picks. They can pick 3 generational talents here.
I apologize if your ears bleed from me raising my voice.
It's fine.
But the Florida Panthers have only 4 top 3-round picks. 4 in the next 3 years. We only have 4. We have a 2nd round in this upcoming year, a 3rd round in the 2024, and only a 2nd and 3rd in 2025. We have no 1st-round picks at all. Which pisses me off that Zito didn't make a single move to get 1 first-rounder. 1! I don't care if it was for the fucking Boston Bruins. Just get us the pick!
You guys could have gave us Matthew Tkachuk.
Oh, I would have loved to give you Tkachuk. I would have loved to
I
give you
want Tkachuk. You don't know how bad I want to see the Tkachuk brothers in Blues unis. You don't know how bad I want to see that.
I don't think you understand how many Blues fans went to the All-Star game wearing Tkachuk custom jerseys.
Or they were wearing their dad's old jersey because there's people that still
it said 19 Tkachuk.
Yep. I can't think of what their
Because I remember Keith Tkachuk wore 7.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
But here's the thing. What the fuck could you have given us for Tkachuk? You have nothing.
3 first-round picks.
3 first-round picks? For what?
For a generational pest.
You would have had to give us at least Buchnevich and at least 2 first-rounders for him.
That's true. Butch is outrageous right now. But I'm going to say
at least we're not taking Falk. At least we're not taking Falk.
There's a race. Falk's a decent defenseman. You want to know who I want to get rid of? Parayko. I am sick of the he just sits back there. He does nothing on that line. The dude is worthless. He isn't using his slap shot at all. He's not scoring goals. He ain't doing anything, and he's got an outrageous contract.
Last time Colton Parayko actually took a slap shot was in the 2019 Stanley Cup Final.
Don't remind me.
That was the last time I remember because I watched the entire Blues season for the last 3 years, and Parayko hasn't taken a slap shot or a one-timer since then.
We gave up Alex Pietrangelo to instead sign Colton Parayko to the ridiculous contract he has and to give him an A.
But
I'd
I'm
have
gonna be
rather
honest.
kept Pietrangelo.
You have a solid future ahead of you with Jake Neighbors and Jordan Kyrou.
Yes, and if Torrey Krug can stay consistent and be pretty good on that backline, we have a really good defense. And Justin Falk. If Justin Falk can continue producing as he does.
Montreal, let's talk about them real quick.
God.
I am fucking hyped for their goaltending future. Because if you go to their depth charts real quick and then you scroll down, you can go see their prospects list. And one of their goalies is named Jakub Dobesh. He's from the Czech Republic. He's 21 years old and has had insane stats, man. This kid.
You've got a veteran as Jake Allen there to be able to teach him things. I mean, good God.
No, I don't want Jake Allen to teach him. I'd rather have Carey Price come back to the organization and be a goaltending coach, all right?
I think that bridge is burnt at this point.
No, I'm pretty sure he's still with the organization, just not as a player.
But even then, like
Jakub Dobesh, Ohio State University, he's in the Big Ten.
Ooh.
Ohio State University is in the Big Ten. Listen to these stats. He's the starting goaltender, and there's not many games in the NCAA Big Ten.
No.
So there's 35 games. He played 35.
College hockey's still not big.
2.26 goals against, but listen to the save percentage. 0.934.
He's insane.
And then a 0.918. Last season, he got some awards. He got NCAA Big Ten he got on the NCAA Big Ten all rookie team with Matty Beniers and Owen Power. And then NCAA Big Ten best goaltender, NCAA Big Ten first all-star team. I believe that's where Matty Beniers and Owen Power came in. I don't know who was on the all rookie team though. I don't really care for the rookies in the NCAA sometimes. But then NCAA Big Ten Rookie of the Year, but sadly he was the co-champion.
Yeah, hockey's still not that big in college. I wish it would grow.
Yeah, so no, there's still some decent names on here. You have
absolutely, but
Jakub Dobesh, Luke Hughes, Mason Lowry, who got drafted by the Bruins, Grigory Merkulov, Matthew Knies, and Maki Samskevich, which is a Panthers prospect. I fucking love this team.
But when we're looking at all these trades and everything, the two teams that I'm seeing sell the most currently, Chicago and St. Louis.
Literally rivals, yeah.
Yes, so these games are going to get a whole lot more interesting, especially when we see who's going to win this race. With the way things are going, and I have bias. I'm sorry. I have bias. But with how they are picking up draft picks and everything, Blues are winning this. They didn't get anything for Kane. They got nothing for him.
They got a bag of pucks, bud. They got a bag of pucks.
They got a bag of boxes.
They got a bag.
They got nothing but boxes for the guy. They got nothing but boxes to help him move out.
They got the boxes for his desk, all right? Get all the shit off of it and get the fuck out. It's like when you get fired at the office job. It's just like, all right, here's your shit. Now get the fuck out.
Oh my God. Who's at the bottom right now of the standings? Because that's who's going to be selling.
That is I believe it's actually Arizona, I like to say.
Probably. Actually, Blackhawks. Blackhawks are at the bottom of the Central. Sharks are at the bottom of the Pacific.
At the bottom of the Atlantic is
Canadians
probably
are at the
Canadian.
bottom.
Yeah, but the thing is, look at their points compared to everybody else.
56 points, 46.
It's not that big. So the thing is, the Canadians could still make the fucking playoffs.
Oh my God, no!
They can still make the playoffs.
No!
If the Canadian makes the playoffs before the Blues, I am fucking burning everything. Okay.
Oh my God.
Jeez, I've never gotten so fucking heated.
The other team I'm really angry about this whole season, the Canucks. Let's be real here. What have you done?
I'm surprised they aren't at the bottom of the Pacific. That's
right? You fire Bruce Boudreau, who was your best coaching option, but you won't get him the players he needs. You make all
and then you fuck up by signing JT Miller to that big ass contract, not realizing that he's been shit this year. He hasn't done shit for your team. He has no leadership, and you still think it was Bruce Boudreau's fault. Wake the fuck up, please.
You're doing worse than the fucking Sabres.
Well, to be fair, it's about the Sabres. They got a solid core.
Now
But
they
here's
finally
my
do. They
thing.
had to get rid of Jack Eichel.
You're doing worse than the Ottawa Senators. How about that? You're doing worse than them. And you're doing worse than the Canadians. How does it feel to be doing worse than the entire Atlantic Division?
They anger me. They really anger me.
I'm pretty sure they're even doing worse than the entire Pacific, too.
I mean, I'm sure if you dig down the stats, they're doing worse than the Ducks and Sharks somehow. God, the Sharks.
No,
the Sharks are sad for me.
So, how many points does the Canucks have right now? 55?
The Canucks are sitting at 55. The Ducks have 50.
The Canadians have 56. The Red Wings have 65. The Panthers have 68. The Senators have 68. The Sabres have 68. And the Lightning have 79. The Maple Leafs have 84. And, of course, the Bruins with 103. You're doing worse than the entire fucking division. How did you manage that? You fired Bruce Boudreau. That was the first mistake. Second mistake was fucking signing JT Miller, that big-ass contract. Third mistake was not training Quinn Hughes to an actually cup-contending team and getting something good out of him. I get that Quinn Hughes is your franchise defenseman, but send him to a team. Send him to fucking Jersey for all I fucking care. Bring him with his brother Jack and Luke.
They're almost doing worse than the Metropolitan if it wasn't for the Blue Jackets with 46 points.
You're doing worse than the majority of the Metropolitan.
Conference. Of the entire Eastern Conference.
You're doing worse than 15 out of 16 of the Eastern Conference teams. And if I had my friend Voodoo on here, he would be yelling his ass off at the Canucks. Because he's a big Canucks fan, and I know he is. But you're doing worse. Here's the big thing. You're doing worse than the Philadelphia Flyers! Jeez, I'm turning into fucking Steve Dangle here. You're doing worse than the Philadelphia Flyers, who have fucking John Tortorella.
You are worse than the Toronto Maple Leafs, who lost an actual NHL game to a Zamboni driver.
And lost to the Arizona Coyotes twice! Twice! Fucking fix it, please! You're making me, who's not even a fan of Canucks, lose my mind. I am just so shocked that a team could still be even with 50 points with how bad they're doing with management. Like, seriously, man. Your biggest mistake has been this team. Your team is a mistake. It's not this was a mistake, this was a mistake, Boudreau was a mistake. No, you are a mistake. Your team is a mistake. Fucking fix it, please. We want to see the Canucks do good. Trust me. Since 2011, we've wanted to see the Canucks win a cup, but you failed because you're shit management. You do great with draft picks, as we can tell with Quinn Hughes, but you're still shit. God. Fucking A, I've lost my voice. I'm gonna go back and clip this entire rant.
Yes. So, shall we move on to the next subject?
Yeah. Let's go with the NBA. There's not really many notable moves from the NBA except like Russell Westbrook going to, I believe it was the Jazz, and then signing with the Clippers, which shocks me that you can even get signed to a different team in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that. And then DeMar DeRozan, pretty good move, pretty good pickup there. But I believe it was the Bulls picked up DeMar. I don't know. There's no trade tracker for the fucking NBA.
Yeah,
So
like
we have no
every
trade.
sports needs to start doing like the same thing, like
Like
trade
cap, like
trackers.
as cap friendly. Cap friendly is the NHL's trade tracker.
Yeah.
So you got Dwayne Dedmon going to a non-roster team. I believe Quentin Jackson got called up from the G League. Kevin Knox goes to the Blazers for Gary Payton. And then you got Reggie Jackson to the Hornets for Mason Plumlee, Devontae Graham. And then you got Garrison Matthews and Bruno Fernando going to the Hawks. You got Mo Bamba going to the Lakers. That's a pretty big move from the Magic. Patrick Beverley going to the Magic. John Wall going to the Rockets for Eric Gordon. And then you got Sadiq Bey going to the Hawks. That's a big pickup from the Pistons. Pistons made a bad move there. Sadiq Bey's got to be one of their best players, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's 51 points, 9 rebounds in his last game against the Magic. That is 51 points. Holy shit. And they won 130. Can you do the math real quick? What percentile is 51 points out of 134?
51 out of 100?
51 out of 134.
I cannot tell you. I'm not great with math.
I'm pretty sure it's just 51 divided by 134 times 10.
Yeah. Okay, so 51 divided by 134.
It is 38% of your points.
Yep.
38% of your points was by Sadiq Bey, and you traded him. Oh my goodness, Pistons, you're blowing it. I feel like Adam Sandler from fucking Happy Gilmore.
You blew it. Yeah.
Funny thing is, Adam Sandler's probably having the time of his fucking life being a Bruins fan.
Yeah.
All I can hear is "Hooked on a Feeling" playing in his head. Ha ha.
The scene has changed so much though from like last year's playoffs and even the year before. Like, what the fuck are the Lakers doing, dude? Like,
they're trading away everybody. But
the Rockets are at the basement. You went all
let me
in
check
and
on
you
them.
when did they win? They
Been down there? No. How about fire your fucking management, please? Thank you.
when did they won like
Serge Ibaka went to the Pacers. Bucks, what are you doing, man? I cheer you on. I'm a Bucks fan in the NBA, and they're fucking throwing it.
Yeah, they went to the playoffs in 2020. Okay, they didn't win it, but you went all in and got so close, and now you're all the way in the basement.
Oh yeah, the
You have
Rockets.
such great talent.
Hey, but I would have been a Bucks fan since 2015 before they won a championship, and just seeing them win a championship, I cried. I fucking cried. But we're not looking too hot this year. I believe we do have a decent record of we're 45 and 18. The Suns are actually playing right now. They're playing the Mavs 17-12 right now. Did KU lose yesterday? I need to know. Yeah, we lost 75-59. Fuck. Anyways,
Bucks, Celtics, 76ers, Cavaliers coming up out of nowhere, in my opinion, because they haven't really been relevant for a long time. I haven't heard much.
They haven't been relevant since they got rid of LeBron. But they're an Ohio team. They're doing well for themselves. They're not terrible.
Sadly, I am a Bulls fan. I am a Chicago Bulls fan, so I live in.
You're a Bulls fan.
Well,
you're a Chicago team being a St. Louis. You fucking confuse me, mate.
Here's the thing. At least they didn't move like the Hawks did. If the Hawks were still around, it's a St. Louis team, I would cheer for them. Same with the Rams. I would be a Rams fan today if they did not move that.
Let me guess, you're a Chiefs fan?
I sadly am now.
What do you mean, sadly? You got a ring. We got a ring, man.
I know we got rings, but the amount of shit I have to listen to?
Dude, at least you didn't go the wrong way and choose the Bears.
That's fair. But yeah, with basketball, the only nearby team that I would cheer for are the Bulls. However,
Mhm.
There's a certain guy I have to cheer for because he's from St. Louis, Jason Tatum of the Celtics, and they're 45-19. They are sitting right on you guys up in Milwaukee. So
Mhm.
that Eastern Conference is going to get interesting.
For some reason, in the last few years of sports I've watched, the Eastern teams are usually the most powerful teams. But last year, of course, we were proven wrong with Colorado winning the cup. And St. Louis winning the cup in 2019 was also another reason to say that the West is still strong. But in the last, I believe, 10 years, so since 2013,
Yes.
it's been majority Eastern teams
Yes,
winning the cup.
sadly, in the NHL.
But that's not true since 2013. It's been more Western teams because you had the back and forth between the Blackhawks and the Kings.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
saved you there. But since like 2003, yes, for the last 20 years of Stanley Cup Finals, the winners have come out of more winners have come out of the East than the West, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
And
this
most
year,
of those years, the Toronto Maple Leafs have lost most of those years.
the Toronto Maple Leafs haven't won a cup since 1967. Let's put that into perspective.
That's when the Blues joined the league.
That's when the St. Louis Blues, who became the 2019 Stanley Cup champions, joined the fucking league. Toronto, what happened? What happened? I'm asking Steve Dangle, too. What happened to your team?
There's actually a really great video. I will send you a video after this podcast about why the Toronto Maple Leafs are bad.
Is it please tell me it's urinating tree.
It is.
I've seen that video. I've seen that fucking video.
He goes so hard on why the Leafs are bad. Awful ownership, awful general managing, just so atrocious throughout the entire years. And yet so many years of success. But why? Why can you not just finally win a cup so your fans will shut up? They are the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL, where every year it's their year.
Oh, shit. I believe the last time the Maple Leafs won a fucking first round
was like 2002.
It was 2004! When they beat the Ottawa Senators in the first round. That was the last time they made it out of the first round. It was 2004. That was almost 20 years ago. Think about that, Maple Leafs fans. It's been almost 20 years since you won a playoff series. What makes you think you're going to win one now? We got Ryan O'Reilly. We got
Raptors are. They're sitting middle of the pack at a .492 win percentage. Like, Toronto, get good at sports again. Jesus Christ.
What makes you think we're going to win a cup now? Oh, we got John Tavares. We got Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner. And then we also got Ryan O'Reilly in. And we also got Michael Bunting. Yeah. Your top six isn't going to win you a cup. What about your defense? You have no defense. You have no goaltending. So tell me, Toronto fans, how the fuck are you going to win a cup with no defense and no good goaltending?
Vegas has a better chance of moving on and finally winning a cup. You're going to not. They're going to win a cup.
But let me just say,
Aiden
Hill used to be one of the worst goaltenders in this league. Everyone knows that. Aiden Hill used to be one of the best to be the worst goaltender. But this year, Aiden Hill is. I'm going to sound dumb saying this, but he looks like a Vezina Trophy candidate with how well he's been playing. So is Vitek Vanacek, Akira Schmid. I could say that about both of those players from the Devils, but I think he has that upper hand over most goaltenders. He's been outperforming his previous years in Arizona and wherever the hell else he's been. But to be fair, on the Golden Knights, I'm pretty sure the Golden Knights are one of the best defensive core teams in the league. But that's in the West. In the West, they're the best defensive core. In the East, the Boston Bruins have the best team in the NHL overall. That's offensive core. That's defensive core. They have the best goaltending in Jason Swayman and Linus Ullmark. Great team, Boston. I would say if it wasn't for the President's Trophy curse that I sadly have experienced, as a Panthers, Devils, and Blues fan. I'm a part Blues fan, but mostly I cheer on the Panthers and Devils. I only cheer on the Blues occasionally because, of course, they're the closest fucking team I can get. And I went to a Blues game down in Wichita.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, I went to the Arizona St. Louis game down in Wichita, which for some
Kansas
reason
really
Arizona was the
yeah.
home team. Arizona was the home team there.
That was a
And
weird
I
one.
screamed. I'm like, why is Arizona the home team in a St. Louis Blues dominated state? Like, if you look at the statistics and see, like, what team is cheered on more in the state of Kansas, out in the West, of course, it's mostly Colorado fans, but you're in the eastern part of Kansas, where it's majority Blues fans. So why isn't it the Blues? Why?
It's all blue in that side of the state because you literally got Kansas City Royals, St. Louis Blues. That's East Kansas right there.
Eastern Kansas consists of Sporting Kansas City, who is a blue team. You have Kansas City Royals, another blue team. You have the Wichita Thunder, who reps blue. We had the Topeka Pilots, who reps a navy blue. And then we cheer on the Blues, who rep, oh wait, guess what? Blue.
Unless they're wearing them beautiful Winter Classic creams.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I have a very controversial opinion when saying this. I think the Cardinals have one of the best baby blue jerseys in all of sports. Best baby blues. Best baby blues, because they rep it so well. You can turn it into anything. It could be a hockey jersey. It could be an NFL jersey. There goes.
We're good for now.
Oh, I thought your internet went out, dude. Can you cover for a second? Can you cover me for a second?
Yes.
You can show all that, but I'm going to go get my power cord. I'm going to remove myself, so it's just going to be you on the screen. And once I get get all plugged in, I will put myself back on. All right.
There we go.
3, 2, 1. Here you go.
Oh.
I'm still here. I'm just telling you, I'm getting my power cord. So you're going to be solo for a minute.
Okay. So yeah. So back. Well, we're supposed to be on the NBA trade deadline. Yeah. I mean, and of course, a lot of these teams are going to be looking for the future right now. Especially when you got March Madness coming up, which I think we'll probably talk about here soon. And not just that, but all the other collegiate tournaments going on from the NCAA Division I all the way down to JUCO and even lower. But I mean, JUCO for me is the lowest. I only look at from Division I to JUCO. That's it. Those are the most relevant sports in college for me. But yeah, I mean, these teams are looking for people. They're going to be picking up players. And I'm pretty sure, a lot of those teams, they've got overseas teams as well. I mean, all them overseas teams are going to be looking for these players and everything. It's NBA and NHL scouting season right now. And I mean, if you're an athlete, play your hardest right now. Be the best there ever was right now. Because there's going to be somebody that's going to see you. I mean, with the NBA and NHL, basketball and hockey have markets in the world all over, unlike football and
I'm back.
They don't have as big of markets as the NBA and NHL. So, yeah, if you're a college kid, play your best because the scouts are looking for you hard right now.
100%. I actually kind of heard you talking about like college stuff there near the end. Speaking of college, let's get into March Madness real quick. Cover that just for a little bit. Talk about the teams who made it. Teams who sadly did not are probably schools we've never heard of, but
yay!
But let's, of course, we got our normal KU, Duke, North Carolina. We got our normal teams, but some surprising ones, of course, Southeast Missouri.
Have they put in the bracket yet?
No, but they got some teams that clinched already. Like one of them is Southeast Missouri.
Yeah.
Which I have a friend named Jeffrey Long who actually was my co-host here on this podcast for a while until he went back into college. And he goes to college at SEMO.
I'm trying to find if they have a list of who all's already clinched so that way I can know if my guys made it, but probably not.
The Tigers did make it.
They did make it. Oh,
Mizzou made it. Mizzou made it.
thank God.
Mizzou always makes it.
Last year, I don't think they did. I think
They did, but they got eliminated in the first round.
Don't remind me.
But of course, we got that. But let's finish up here. Let's see the last few topics. So we've talked about the NHL trade deadline. Spread that off with complete March Madness. We touched on it.
Yep. I mean,
Playoff outlook, we got to look at.
Teams,
MLS, we got to touch on. But everything else, we basically got. MLB spring training. It's not really a big topic, but I'm going to be honest. The Royals are looking good.
I mean, I never go off a spring training record.
But I'm saying
the Cardinals went 81-81, and same with the Cubs.
I'm
expecting
Royals and the Cardinals look like the two strongest teams right now.
Absolutely.
In terms of batting averages, home runs per game, and points per game, they are currently on fire.
The only thing I see that can happen with the Royals
is Zach Greinke.
If poor managing happens,
is Zach Greinke. That's what
because
happened.
The Cardinals in the playoffs last year was one.
Yeah, but then also Zach Greinke. Yeah, you remember him, don't you? You remember that name.
Yeah, and then the XFL, St. Louis is playing their former quarterback of Jordan Tamu, who's with DC, and they're actually playing right now.
He's from yelling earlier. Both of our voices are gone.
But currently both 2-0 teams. So one of these two teams will be handed their first loss of the season.
Mm-hmm.
In the first quarter, DC leads 14-8. But this Battlehawks team, they love to come from behind. Oh my God, dude! So Jordan Tamu, though, what an underrated talent.
But let's talk about some teams that are just disappointing. Seattle Sea Dragons, I believe, got their first win of the season, beating Vegas.
Yeah.
Poor Vegas, man. They're 0-3.
That's not a great way to start off a market in Vegas, really. I mean, that's the kind of
they have a market already. They got the Golden Knights, they got the Raiders.
Vegas has definitely grown.
But there's one thing that I'm pretty sure is going to happen. Sorry to Oakland. I'm pretty sure you're losing your last team that you have. The Athletics is rumored after this upcoming MLB season to be moving to Vegas with the Raiders.
I mean, I figured it was bound to happen. Do they have an MLS team yet, Heather? Or
no, they do not. But the MLS is not a big market in Vegas, sadly. I mean, yeah, more betting, but still.
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick look at the schedule here. So the final score was 30-26. Vegas is keeping the games close, but they're not performing. The Orlando Guardians will play Arlington, and then San Antonio will be playing the Roughnecks. However, there's a rumor going around about the Arlington Renegades that Destroying will be suiting up and kicking for the team.
That's going to be scary. Yeah, I don't know how I felt about some of these team moves and everything. Like, the only teams that stayed where they were, the Arlington Renegades, but they were known as the Dallas Renegades, the Houston Roughnecks, Seattle Sea Dragons, DC Defenders, and St. Louis Battlehawks. Moving the Guardians from New York, I don't know how I felt about that because
so I believe
New York's got a market.
I know, but the whole point was like Orlando doesn't have a team. New York has 2 NFL teams. They have 2 NHL teams, 2 NBA teams, and 2 MLB teams, and then also 2 MLS teams. They have 2 from each of the 5 major sports. So moving into Orlando made sense to me. San Antonio, I don't remember if they were even a team last year with in the last XFL season.
They were not. No.
So they are a new team.
They are new. I think who they originally were.
Great market actually.
I think they might have been what was the LA team, the Wildcats. I think they were, and then the Vipers were moved from Florida. I can't remember where they were in Florida, though. I think it was Miami. But, I mean,
we got the Houston Showdowns tonight. I'm actually I'm going to watch that Brahmas Roughnecks game because that is a Texas Showdown, Lone Star Showdown.
Yeah, that's the other thing I didn't know how I felt about. 3 Texas teams? Really? Okay.
Texas is a
but
big NFL market
It
and a
is. But
football
I mean,
market.
there were so many other states too that are big markets too that I think we could.
Come on, give Kansas a fucking team, please.
You got to wait your turn because you're probably going to
Give-
get stuck with
Give
Chicago or
Wichita.
something like
Don't
that.
give Topeka a team. No, don't give Topeka. Don't give it to. I forgot what that fucking place is. Don't give it to Emporia. Give it to Wichita because that's our biggest market. Don't give it to Kansas City. We have the Chiefs. We're fine. Give
And don't.
Wichita a team.
I'm sorry. I know you're from Kansas, but don't put it in the Kansas side of Kansas City. That is the worst side of Kansas City.
Yeah, and the attendance to Sporting KC games are.
Because nobody wants to go to that side.
Yeah, nobody. But the
the
only
saying
good
is-
thing coming out of sports from the Kansas side, we both know it. We both watch the racing, Kansas Speedway.
Uh-huh.
That's the only good thing. But anyways, let's get to the MLS. The MLS.
Yes.
The first few games have been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I am happy with how this is going so far.
I'm happy with how my team's doing so far. So
St. Louis 3-1 over Charlotte. Great win there.
and 3-2 over Austin in their first ever game. So 2-0 to start the season. Things are looking up.
promising. And the Sporting KC, I believe, beat their matchup. Oh no, they lost to Portland. Never mind. They lost to Portland, but they tied with Colorado, which is pretty surprising. San Jose is looking like a good team right now. Dallas beat LA, very surprising. Seattle beat Salt Lake, not very surprising. Chicago somehow tied with New York City FC, which is pretty fucking surprising.
On the
Austin beat
western side of
Montreal.
things, so for St. Louis, this is a new team.
Mhm.
Looking at their rivals, Sporting KC's definitely won, especially since they're both in the Western Conference.
Fire.
If these two teams constantly make the playoffs together, especially in years to come,
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be so
God.
good, man. It's gonna be
And
like
then-
KU Mizzou all over again.
and then St. Louis and Chicago, it's always a rivalry. It's always there, and maybe someday they'll add another Eastern team. I don't know
but
where.
we have
And move
another
Chicago to the
rivalry.
West. If they move
In
Chicago
St.
to the
Louis,
West,
we have a new rivalry as well developing. The biggest rivalry coming out of St. Louis recently is probably going to be either against Nashville or against Austin. Is going to be one of your two rivalries. One of your two
That's-
newest rivalries.
that's
Of
gonna be
course.
good. But yeah,
I hope it's against Austin because Austin's a great fucking team. And if they're rivals with you, you're gonna have some great games. But
Well, I
Miami,
mean that first game 3-2.
yes,
3-2.
okay, Miami beat Philly, baby. Inter Miami FC, a team that I follow greatly. They beat Philly. They beat Philly, baby. That's great. That's insane. Big win for the boys there. But who got goals? That's my question. I need to see this. I need to see this box score. I don't know why it's Russian. It's Russian because I choose the Russian. All right. They missed an attempted. They missed a P kick, I believe. Attempt saved. So yellow card.
What's
Attempt
so
missed, attempt
funny
missed,
is
end of match delay.
the first time I ever called a playoff game in my collegiate career of sports broadcasting.
So I'm pretty sure
It was-
both goals
it was-
were in the first. It was Gene with the goal at the 32nd minute for the first goal. No, there was a second goal. Hold on. And then Taylor, the midfielder, gets the second goal at the 77th minute. Robert Taylor, great leadership from him and a good goal. And
I've really fallen in love with soccer, and it mostly comes from my first ever playoff game. It was for the women's soccer team in my college. We had made the playoffs. We went 0-0 through the entire game. This was two deep defensive teams just battling it out. We went through first overtime, second overtime, and went straight to the penalty kick shootout. Oh, what a heartbreak it was to watch my team fall, but it was so good.
Anyways,
soccer can get exciting in that penalty kick shootouts.
100%. So MLS, MLB, XFL have all been covered. We also got so the MLS is back. I think
we did
are
touch
going
the
to
NBA
skip
trade. I think we
something.
touched the NBA trade deadline as well. I think we could go ahead and cross that off our list.
Yes, you did. And then I think we're just gonna skip. We're gonna drop this one because we don't have much time left. We're gonna drop the NBA playoff outlook. Save it for next week. So we'll have updated standings. But right now, the NHL playoff outlook is the last topic we're gonna cover today. So teams in the playoffs right now. Let me pull up NHL.com. Take a look at the wild card. The Eastern wild card is going to come down to the last game of the season. We can all agree on that. That wild card race is going to come down, but some big names that are probably going to be making the playoffs is definitely Carolina and New Jersey, but they're going to be fighting for the top of the Metro here as they're only 2 points apart.
That 1 seed will make a difference, especially.
I hope New Jersey gets the 1 seed. So if the Panthers make the playoffs,
I just realized we have a chance also to possibly see both New York teams make the playoffs.
Yes, the Islanders have 72 points right now. Both the Rangers and the Lightning have 79. Lightning haven't been too good this season, honestly. They lost to the Panthers as well.
Yeah.
They lost to the fucking Panthers twice in the regular season so far.
Hey, Lightning, I got some advice for you. Give Pat Maroon back to St. Louis. Just give him back, please.
just a few games. Just a few games.
We got a first overall pick.
we got it's like scrolling through, it's like having like that fat stack of money. You're just looking.
Yes.
We have 3 first overall picks. Will you take that?
For Pat Maroon? Yes. And then we just dominate. Pat Maroon.
No, Pat Maroon for 3 first? Hell no, man.
Dude, the dude is insane, all right?
The dude is insane, but you don't give 3 first overall picks for him. Come on now.
Hey, he's only worth $900,000.
It's not even a $1 million contract. Yikes.
Yeah, and
so right now in the playoffs is in the West, you have Dallas, Minnesota, Winnipeg in the Central with those top 3 seeds. Your top 3 in the Pacific is Vegas. I'm happy to see this. Vegas, Los Angeles, and Seattle. Seattle didn't have a great season last year, but seeing them in the playoffs, great. But they're tied. They're tied right now. So technically, the first in the Pacific is Vegas and Kings. Third place in the Pacific is Kraken and Oilers.
Yes.
Because they both have 76 points. Dallas, I think, is probably going to win the West.
Really? Okay.
But we'll see. Because if Seattle has a great rest of the year with, I believe, Barbashev. They have Barbashev, right?
No, Barbie went.
They have Schwartzy.
They got Schwartz and they got Dunn from the Blues. Those were the 2 players.
So Schwartz, if Schwartz has a hell of a season, Dunn keeps playing great defensively. You still have those great goaltenders over there in Seattle. If they keep playing great, honestly, I think Seattle could win the West. But right now it's looking like Dallas with their 81 points, 34-16, and 13 over 13. Oh,
I as much as I hate the team, even though like I have a friend that
13 overtime losses. Let's talk about that. Well, actually, let's not talk about it for Dallas' sake. Currently in the wild card picture, you have, we're not counting Edmonton because they're tied. Colorado, Nashville, Calgary, St. Louis are your teams that have the highest chance. Actually, no, it's just Colorado, Nashville, Calgary. St. Louis has 59 points, which is 8 points.
They're out of reach unless they just go on a complete and total tear somehow and just.
Yeah, you're on the 1-game losing streak, so I wouldn't count on it, bud.
I'd have to look and see what the rest of our games look like this year.
The Panthers won. Apparently, they beat the Penguins. They beat the Penguins.
I think we might go on a 3-game win streak here, though, because we've got the Coyotes, the Sharks, and the Jackets. So
don't count down on the Yotes, bro. They beat Toronto, dude.
They beat us as well in their home stadium. Their home stadium.
Look what happened. Look what fucking happens when the Panthers have Barkov. Look, Bennett from Verhaeghe and Chuck. First goal. Second goal. Ekblad from Barkov and Montour. Chris Letang gets a goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Okay, it's on the power play. Etulo Serenen from Alexander Barkov.
I'm going to say this, though. A team in the West to watch out for if they can get the goaltending fixed. Because they're having a bit of goaltending issues right now, and that's Vegas. If they didn't have as many injuries this season with goaltending,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So teams that are currently in the playoff picture in the East is everyone except Columbus. Literally everyone.
yeah.
You have New York Islanders, you have the Penguins, you have the Sabres, Senators,
And
Panthers, Capitals, Red Wings. Flyers are still technically in the playoff picture. They're not eliminated yet. And the Canadians are still technically in the playoff picture. But Columbus is 10 points out from Montreal. So sadly, no Columbus for the playoffs.
But here's the thing, though. When we're looking at these playoffs, though, these teams are clawing and scratching just to edge out the way, just to get into the playoffs. The East is going to be tired as hell from all they're doing. The West, they're almost basically decided at this point. And so when it comes down to it, the West is going to be more relaxed. They're going to be more ready for the playoffs. I think the West might win a cup this year.
I think it's going to be Boston because they're already clinched.
Oh yeah,
they won their last 10 games. They're the first team to have 100 points, and I don't even think there's ever been a team to get 100 points in the season and miss the playoffs.
But the last time Boston was the number 1 seed and made it to the cup was 2019. Shut up.
Let's not talk about 2019.
I will do this. It was 2019 and it went to game 7, baby.
Yeah, but still, the West is weak this year in terms of regular season. But holy shit, I just looked at the goal differential for Boston. 105 plus 105 in goal differential. Ugh! Anyways, let's finish off here. So, yeah, the only 4 remaining teams in that wild card picture for the West is Edmonton, Colorado, Nashville, and Calgary. Your top 3 in the Pacific are the Las Vegas Golden Knights, even though they're just called the Vegas Golden Knights. I still call them Las Vegas. Fuck you. Los Angeles Kings, Seattle Kraken are your top 3 in the Pacific. Your top 3 in the Central are the Dallas Stars, the Minnesota Wild, and Winnipeg Jets. Wild aren't going far with a flurry, I'll tell you that much. And then the East is Carolina, New Jersey, is the Carolina Hurricanes, New Jersey Devils, my boys, and the New York Rangers, 88, 86, and 79 in those point totals. Boston Bruins lead the Atlantic, of course, with 103 points. They are 1 win away from win number 50 on the season. Only 8 losses in regulation and 5 losses in overtime. The Maple Leafs are second in the Atlantic. We all know how that will go. With a record of 38, 17, and 8, 84 points. And that means that the first round matchup is looking like, unless a team comes in and snipes it, it's going to be the Maple Leafs and Lightning. A rematch from last year with the 37, 20, and 5 Lightning with 70 points is in third in the Atlantic. Any last remarks from you?
No, none at all, really.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode. We appreciate all of your support, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye.